WXII 12 News at 10 on the Triad CW starts now.
A man on a bike badly hurt. The driver didn't ever stop. New developments in this investigation right now at 10.
Today we would have celebrated Dr. King's 91st birthday. What a vision he had.
And a legacy remembered on this federal holiday. From marches and memorial tributes, how people in the Triad are honoring the life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
And the stage is set tonight for just the third impeachment trial of an American president in history. And for the first time in a long time, we know how the president's lawyers plan to defend him. First, tonight we are dealing with, thankfully, clear skies, but boy, is it bitterly cold out there.
It does not feel good. Kids had today off from school, but they're going to need a lot of layers at the bus stop tomorrow morning. Chief Meteorologist Lainey Pope kicks things off for us at 10.
That's right. My best advice is to go deep into the closet and get that heaviest coat that you have, because temperatures are going to be down in the teens and 20s. And in fact, we are already very close to our morning lows tomorrow. We're at 28 right now in Greensboro, 27 in Winston-Salem, and 16 in Galax. The wind is not blowing as strong as earlier, but even a little bit of that north wind provides us with a wind chill. Right now, the wind chill in Galax is at 6 degrees. Feels like it's 19 in Winston-Salem. Wind chill values are in the single digits from Galax all the way down to Boone. So our mountain communities will be the coldest early tomorrow morning. We do have clear skies across the area. Forecast temperatures down to about 20 on average in the foothills and in the Piedmont Triad. There will be some communities that may make it down into the upper teens. For the mountains, we're starting your Tuesday off at 13 degrees. We've got more cold air in this week's forecast, so stay tuned.
Laney, thank you. New tonight, authorities say they've arrested a hit-and-run driver who seriously injured a bicyclist. This happened in Davidson County yesterday. 24-year-old Jessica Miller is behind bars tonight in the Davidson County Jail, facing a number of charges. Investigators say she hit that biker, Josh Ramsey, yesterday afternoon right here near the intersection of Gumtree and Old Lexington Roads. Highway Patrol tells us Ramsey suffered serious injuries as a result of that crash. Next to Burlington, where there's a silver alert tonight for a missing man. Here he is, Jerome Wallace. He was last seen around 6 o'clock tonight, 4 or so hours ago, leaving his home on Union Avenue. It's likely he is wearing green pants, a blue and yellow ski jacket, and black shoes. If you know Mr. Wallace or have any idea where he might be, or if you see him, get in touch with the Burlington Police Department.
Happening now, Winston-Salem police are looking for answers in the city's first homicide of the new year. Officers say they found 22-year-old Antonio Moran lying along Willard Road last night after they'd been shot multiple times. He died at the scene. No word right now if investigators have a suspect or a person of interest, but they do tell us this was an isolated incident. An off-duty Davidson County deputy was at the right place at the right time. A fight between customers inside of a restaurant led to gunfire. It happened at the Steak and Shake on Wendover Avenue in Greensboro yesterday afternoon. Police tell us during the fight, one man pulled out a gun and started shooting. The off-duty deputy was eating inside and was able to detain those men until officers arrived. He also told everyone inside to take cover. Investigators tell us Leon Rich and Quincy Dowdy are both charged with assault.
To Raleigh now, where the local chapter of the NAACP is responding to a traffic stop last week that left a hit-and-run suspect bloodied and bruised. A spokesperson says both the 22-year-old driver and the officer who kneed him should have handled things differently. The department released both dash cam and body cam footage from the arrest. Police say the driver refused to comply with orders to get out of the vehicle 14 times. Community activists say the use of force was excessive and unwarranted. The NAACP president says law enforcement has to think about what they're doing, particularly when engaging with people of color, but also said the public, especially young drivers, should properly handle the situation if stopped by police.
Police in Fayetteville say they have caught up with a man who's accused of taking his infant son and the baby's mother from their home overnight with a gun. Both mom and that baby were found unharmed and they're safe right now. Lonnie Thomas, however, is in custody. According to the woman's mother and the child's grandmother, Thomas kicked through their front door around 1 in the morning.
So he was saying, "Where's my son?" And then I got out the window in the first room and I called the police and told them, like, he has a gun, he broke in my house.
She adds the couple and baby were staying at the motel with Thomas, but recently moved back home with her. Thomas is expected to make his first appearance tomorrow afternoon in court.
A deadly crash in Yadkin County is under investigation tonight. It happened at about 2:45 this afternoon in the northbound lane of I-77 near the mile 74 marker. Highway Patrol says a man rear-ended an 18-wheeler and died at the scene. Troopers plan to release his name after they get in touch with his family.
Unsportsmanlike conduct over the weekend outside of Charlotte is making national headlines. A grown man who Kannapolis police say was watching his son wrestle ran across the mat and tackled his son's opponent. The wrestler who was tackled goes to Southeast Guilford High School in Greensboro. Several parents stepped in to get Barry Lee Jones off of the 17-year-old. He's charged with simple assault and disorderly conduct.
Today marks 3 years to the day since President Trump took the oath of office, and one day before his Senate impeachment trial gets underway. Both sides are making final preps tonight for the showdown and also releasing details of the arguments they plan to make. NBC's Alice Barr takes a look at both sides.
On the eve of the Senate trial, President Trump's legal team laying out a detailed defense in a 110-page trial memo calling his impeachment a rigged and brazenly political process. The attorneys urging senators to swiftly reject the charges that they say don't allege a crime and don't meet constitutional grounds for impeachment.
His abuse of power is not the criteria for impeachment, any more than dishonesty would be a criteria for impeachment.
Democrats point out the Constitution doesn't require a crime for impeachment, and they argue abuse of power is reason enough.
We have to ask ourselves, who is the president going to shake down next?
The Trump team's brief doesn't deny that the president pressured Ukraine to announce investigations of Democrats, including Joe Biden, but argues he was within his rights to pursue corruption. House impeachment managers readying their arguments to remove the president from office, saying he abandoned his oath to faithfully execute the laws and betrayed his public trust. The lead manager promising a fight to bring in new evidence.
Witnesses and documents.
President Trump on Twitter saying Democrats were in too much of a rush during House proceedings to wait for all the witnesses they wanted. Tonight, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell releasing trial rules that do call for a vote on whether to allow witnesses after opening arguments and questions from senators. The rules give each side 24 hours to present their case over just 2 days, meaning arguments could run late into the night. Democrats say that's intentional to hide the facts and now accuse Republicans of trying to rush the impeachment trial of President Trump. While lawmakers are facing off, President Trump will be spending the first day of the trial out of the country at the World Economic Forum in Switzerland. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
A programming note for tomorrow. Because of NBC's special coverage of the impeachment trial, Days of Our Lives will not come on at its regular time. It'll air in its entirety Wednesday morning at 3 a.m. over on WXII 12.
Commitment 2020 now. Democratic presidential hopefuls spent part of their Martin Luther King Day in South Carolina to mark the holiday. Joe Biden, Amy Klobuchar, Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, Pete Buttigieg, Tulsi Gabbard, Tom Steyer, and Deval Patrick linked arms and marched to the state capitol where they delivered remarks. It's a show of force and unity for the Democratic candidates as they vie for the nomination ahead of the Iowa caucuses, which are now just a couple of weeks away, February 3rd.
Events honoring Martin Luther King Jr. Day continued tonight in Winston-Salem. Wake Forest University and Winston-Salem State University joined forces for a celebration at Waite Chapel. It featured musical selections from the school's choirs along with keynote speech from professor and best-selling author Ibram Kendi. This year's theme promoted Dr. King's legacy of service and highlighted a commitment to constant pursuit of justice and equity.
It's a journey that involves constant self-criticism. It's a journey that involves constant sort of struggle, but that's the journey that King was on, and that's the legacy that he has left us.
This is the 20th time the two universities have joined forces for this cause, marking their longest-running partnership. They're teaming up for another MLK Day event this weekend. Those details coming up in our next half hour of news. Well, there are a number of service events earlier today all across the Triad. Students at North Carolina A&T State University helped Habitat for Humanity build a new ramp at Center Christian Church. And in High Point University, students, faculty, and staff packed 2,000 meals for the Backpack Beginnings program to help make sure kids in need get the food they need over the weekend when they're not in school. And in Winston-Salem, dozens of volunteers spent the morning sprucing up Oddfellows Cemetery, which is an historic African-American cemetery.